Hey, I'm Mike Twombley, health coach and 6-pillar practitioner with 6-pillar living and Dr. Aajay Shah. We've had a great week of talking about exercise and going through the different branches of quality, quantity, content, frequency, timing, and now we're going to talk about the other affected pillars. Now, when speaking about exercise, exercise is one that we all struggle with to some degree in getting to the gym, to getting to being motivated, to getting to being able to do what we want to do with regards to our exercise lives. Most of us don't consider what that actually means or why that is the case, and this is actually where some of those answers become clear. So moving forward, we're going to talk about the different pillars and how they each affect one another and how exercise actually affects the other pillars themselves. This is very key because most of the times we start to look at different parts of our lives and compartmentalize and don't really take into consideration what each of the other areas means to the other. As far as exercise is concerned, there's an unending number of factors that can affect positively or negatively our motivation, our ability to physically get up and move, and whether or not we're able to even come up with the idea of, yeah, I want to exercise. So the origination of the thought itself. Now, this is key for us to understand how each of the other pillars can either aid or take away from our ability to be successful with our exercise pillar. First, we'll start off talking about nutrition. Nutrition is one that it seems very obvious. Obviously, if you don't eat well, it's going to be very difficult to perform physically and pursue our exercise goals. But that's not the end of it. We want to make sure that we're understanding that what we eat the night before really does impact how we feel the next morning, how groggy we get up, what kind of thoughts pop into our head, what kind of mental clarity we have, and how much motivation we have to actually get into our exercise clothes and pursue any kind of goal with regard to exercise. As far as nutrition is concerned, it also works in the inverse, that if we are exercising, studies have shown that we actually eat better as well, because after doing a hard exercise, we don't want to actually mess that up by eating terrible food. When we look at our plate, or we take into consideration, are we going to eat the ice cream or are we going to have the pizza? Many times if we worked out in the morning, we've all experienced this, that we decide not to have the pizza all of a sudden. So, taking that in consideration, both scientifically and experimentally and experientially, we all know that we're going to have a better nutrition pillar if we are in fact working hard on our exercise pillar. So exercise has a huge impact on all of the pillars. Nutrition, not of the least. The next pillar of interest is going to be sleep. Now, sleep is very, very important and impactful on the exercise pillar. Our exercise life is going to be more full, more complete, and more results bearing if our sleep pillar is in balance. Making sure that we get our 8 hours of sleep is going to be key for us to be able to get the rest and recuperation that is necessary for our hard workouts that we put ourselves through to actually have any kind of results, whether it be weight loss, muscle increases, or performance. All three are going to be extremely impacted by how much we sleep and the quality of the sleep that we do have. So make sure that as you're exercising, as you're stepping into a life of exercise, that you don't miss the opportunity to get the most possible results by making sure that your sleep pillar is in balance as well. Sleep, in fact, makes it to where you're more motivated. We've all experienced being in a state of lacking rest and having this fatigue that is set in because we didn't get good rest the night before and blowing off a workout the next day. So with that, it actually works again, like with nutrition, in the inverse, that if in fact you do exercise, you sleep better as well. So make sure your workouts and your exercise life, your activity life, is one that supports a better sleep. It can actually act as a great opportunity to be able to sleep better if in fact you are engaging in physical activity and exercise throughout your day at different points. This will certainly impact your sleep if you are in doing so right before bed. Remember that we want to try and keep a couple of hours in between our exercise and our sleep because the body temperature raises up, and as it increases to higher levels, it takes time for our body to come back down, and we actually prefer a couple of degrees less during the evening to fall asleep, and we cannot actually enter into the deep restful states of sleep without our body temperatures being lowered and dropped below. So make sure you space a little bit of time and a little bit of space between your exercise on any given day and the time that you go to sleep. Now next, we're stepping into stress. Now exercise, as we know, can certainly be used medicinally in this way, in that we can actually manage our stress better with exercise as a part of our lives. This has been done study after study and seen that people that exercise tend to have a lot less stress following their exercise than if they had not exercised at all. Very, very important if you do have a lot of anxiety or stress, that bringing some exercise into this to temper that stress and anxiety can be very, very effective. So working them together, allowing your stress pillar to be aided by the exercise pillar, is a wonderful way to go. Dr. Shah and I actually use this ourselves, in that I myself and Dr. Shah both get our 30 minutes of exercise in for our exercise pillar, and activity is something that we engage in on a regular basis for the purposes of fulfilling the exercise pillar. But we actually do a little bit extra every single day simply because it brings down the stress levels and allows our bodies to be at a much calmer state. You should try this if you haven't. If you have, then you already know what a great idea it is. Adding a little bit of exercise just simply for the calming of your mind, the calming of your anxieties, is a wonderful thing to do. Moving forward into substances. This is something that if you do have a problem with substances, it could be sugar. This is not something that we're speaking of just illegal substances. This is something that it could be sugar, it could be medications, it could be food, it could be alcohol, it could be any number of things, but anything that is coming in on your body and acting as a bit of a substance that you can't quite kick, you can't quite let go. It's got its addictive hooks into you. Exercise is a great way to be able to help that out. Feeling stronger, more in control, and more capable will help the substances pillar. And finally, relationships. Couples that sweat together stay together. Maybe I just made that up. But it certainly does lend a bit of humor to the fact that most couples that do exercise together do tend to spend a lot more time together than those that go off in their separate directions. So this is an opportunity for you to be able to increase the bond between you and your loved ones, whether they be someone who is an intimate partner or someone who is just a part of your family. It's a wonderful way to bring in those that you care about, your loved ones, your friends, your family, and spend some time with them in a very healthy way that will promote both increased relationship and better health for both of you. So I really hope that, and Dr. Shah really hopes that, you have a wonderful day and that all of your pillars are working in balance and helping you to find your very best life. We look forward to bringing you next week the sleep pillar and all that entails. You have a great day, and we look forward to serving you.